I'm sorry, this guy. I know you. What's your name again? Anyway, yeah, he was telling you that there's no experiment.
Well, again, you don't have to disprove or prove gravity. I just want there to be, like, how can flat earthers explain why we accelerate downwards constantly?
I think I see where the disconnect is. Listen, new perspective. I think he's thinking the flat Earth is a disc in space, and that might be where the disconnect is, because the flat Earth is not. We're not trying to say we're a disc in space or anything like that. It's more like we're the bottom floor of the entire universe, dude.
So are you saying that the universe is like coming down on us, or why are we moving?
Everything's above us.
Who knows what the universe actually is? If space isn't what they're telling us, then you have to just erase the whole idea of like distant galaxies and infinite space above us, right? It could be more like an infinite plane. Like, this is the reality. Reality in general is this, ground, water, air, sky. That's reality. There's something beyond that that's like, seems like, well, now it's hard to think of it without thinking of an infinite space, right? But who knows what it is? You can't say, we can't go there. I mean,
so we're not thinking about downward acceleration in terms of space physics.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, where does it? If everything's above us, where does the downward acceleration come from?
Who knows?
Everything above us. Everything is above us.
Everything's above us. Where does the downward acceleration come from if it's not gravity?
Listen, we know things are not. We know things are not accelerating downward radially to the center of a ball mass, right? We know that. So,
how do you know that?
That's your problem. Because there's no curvature. There's no curvature measured anywhere, so that's how we know.
Okay. That's I guess the whole argument, right?
It gets to the heart of it. Yeah, cuts through all the BS.
But the thing is, you don't need gravity. Listen, NP said it earlier. You don't need gravity to explain the fact that light things rise up and heavy things fall down. It's just a simple natural property of buoyancy and density. If you want to try and find the cause of that, I would argue you can't have that without the gradient, and you can't have a gradient without containment. So the whole idea that things go up and down is based on the fact we're in a contained system with a gradient.
But so you're on buoyancy, right?
On a ball Earth, it's the same claim. The ball Earth, right, claims that things go down because of density, but they attach the idea that this little g, which is just the rate that things fall at, which also flat earthers do not deny, it's just the rate, the average rate, right? It has nothing to do with it being on a ball. So the idea that it's because of the balls spinning and mass attracting mass and is totally outdated in the mainstream paradigm already, right? So they don't even claim that it's mass attracting mass anymore. They claim it's bendy space-time.
This is where you guys are mistaken, actually. So this is where I actually see. So buoyancy, you have to understand buoyancy is based off the idea of pressure, right? So it's that pressure is forcing things, low pressure, like equilibrium, right? Like you said, right?
Sure.
Right. So the path of least resistance is upward as it squeezes the buoyant object.
Right. So what is squeezing it? What is the force?
The medium
is gravity.
Density.
Density is not a force. Gravity is the force.
Everything.
Causes pressure.
Gravity is not a force.
It's intermolecular.
Claim to be a force.
It's intermolecular forces that does the squeezing, right?
No, it's not. What if you?
Oh, really? It's a whole medium, like full of stuff.
Okay.
You don't think the stuff is working its way around an object?
Fighters just don't deny pressure mediation. Everything seeks equilibrium. There's nothing to do with it being a ball.
Right, but there has to be pressure. What is the pressure? What force is the pressure? What force is there to cause pressure?
Mediation is how things work. The key to the way everything works.
Right, but there has to be pressure.
Yeah, sure.
When you push on something, there's pressure, right? That's the force. So what is the force that is causing like you said, the downward pressure that makes things move up? What is that downward pressure? What is that downward force that's causing pressure?
It's just everything trying to seek equilibrium and density. More dense things are going to go to the bottom. Less dense things are going to go to the top.
Yeah, and same dense things arrange themselves horizontally across. So you have these two different diametrically opposed axioms at play. Things that have different densities arrange vertically. Things that have the same density arrange horizontally. That's just how the world works.
Right, but why
You
does
don't
that?
have to
Why does
prove
it?
the idea we're on a ball.
Why does it work like that? Because
You don't
gravity.
have a cause to gravity either, dude. You're asking us for a cause to gravity.
I'm not denying gravity.
You can't prove that the acceleration is an attraction. You can't prove or make that causal link or even that correlative link. You can't say
that's not even their claim any longer.
You can't say the acceleration is an attraction.
Is not even the claim anymore.
You guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm saying that buoyancy is not a substitute for explaining gravity. There's still no other
explanation. It's not a substitute. You just don't need gravity at all because in the relative density equation, you add buoyancy to either side, right, to express the downward acceleration of the object and the downward acceleration of the medium. And then in the density equation, you go ahead and cancel out g on both sides, making you wonder why you even put it in there in the first place. It's so redundant. It's silly. You didn't need it there.
Yeah, it's not necessary for gravity in the sense that we're on a ball to be a thing in the way you think it is. It's just the average rate, right? Things are dense, they go down. That you can consider that a force because it is a force. Something's heavy, it causes a force, right? But that doesn't have anything to do with us being on a ball. Flat earthers are not denying gravity in that way at all.
Right. We can use Archimedes' principle all day long. He didn't have any concept of a gravitational force vector. So gravity didn't appear in Archimedes' equations until after Newton anyway.
Yeah, and that force is used in like mechanics and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you need that downward acceleration for anything to work. Flat earthers aren't denying it.
Yeah,
that's the way they make you think we are.
Yeah, we don't deny A, little a.
Yep,
little a exists in a vacuum, big deal.
Yep, and I posted how you solved for that kinematically earlier. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. It's just a force that goes of denser things. It has nothing to do with it being on a ball. But they make you think that's equivalent, that you can only think gravity's real, and all flat earthers don't even think gravity's real. They strawman us and make us out to be something that we're not. And so that's all the assumptions you have to leave at the door.
You mean crazy?
I don't want to.
There's an idea that we have like some crazy alternate view of physics or something when we really just appeal to mainstream physics.
The way it works.
I'm not trying to say. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Make us out to be science deniers. The opposite. Like, let me just ask you this: if pseudoscience, right, is posing as real science, but it's not real science, isn't that something we should all try to like make sure we know about? Or not, continue.
Why should we? Because it's clear that pseudoscience gets the job done, right?
That's a pragmatic fallacy. So if you're going to use fallacies in science, you're going to have a bad time.
If they're pretending to go to space and they're not really going to space, is that something that we should just all be okay with?
I suppose not.
No, it's this ball that makes us like nihilistic, and that's what I see is like, what does it really matter? Who even really cares? The only reason you think that way is because of this, like these pale blue dot images, all these things that have convinced you that on the cosmic scale nothing really matters. So blah blah blah. But if the Earth is the center of everything, dude, and you were put here, it's probably important. And it's probably not something that's just like a joke or something.
Well, I don't view things on the cosmic scale anyways. I have importance without having to look at things at that level. I have a more practical view and goal in life. So I don't need to like see things on a universal scale to have purpose.
Yeah, but you can't tell me
practical as long as you're honest about the practicality, not actually being reality. Because we have models that don't resemble anything in reality but have predictive value, right? I mean, like, didn't they claim to have built the nuclear bomb using the Bohr model, which is like outdated, right?
Outdated in certain contexts.
So the atomic model may not even represent what atoms really are in the first instance, but they can make predictions with them.
Hey, you sound pretty young. What is not to say that you have to dox yourself again or whatever, but like, what is your practical goal?
I just want to make the world a better place.
Oh, you came to the right spot.
We too.
But I don't think, I guess not yet, I don't think that Again, I don't think this will affect. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
How would you know?
Right. I guess I haven't gone over that. I never thought about it until now. I more so wanted to just change the political system.
Well, then this is not the right spot for you. Then, if you want to continue believing in politics, I'd probably say run away from us because we don't. I mean, if the Earth is flat, right, and that means all the countries are in on it together, and they're all just like faking space travel.
Yeah, politics becomes way lower on your priority stack.
Yeah, and they probably don't even count the votes. I mean, come on, it's all psyop just to get us separated and arguing about things.
I know, right? I mean, using techniques that we employ all the time in here, we can ask, what is the verifiable evidence that there was ever an election actually held?
No, I get.
Well, obviously, people went and voted, but whether they actually choose presidents or not, I mean, think about the practicality of it.
What's going on behind the scenes, man?
If they waited till election day, right? Oh shit, we don't know what's going to happen the next 4 years up until this one day where we count the votes. Like that just makes no sense at all. They know what's going to happen the next 4 years, way ahead of time.
Yeah, the voting is a suggestion box.
Yeah, it's just to make you think you have a say.
Well, when I tried to,
I think it's you giving consent as well.
Locally, though, voting might actually make a difference. Locally.
Yeah, the consent factor is all that matters to them, isn't it?
Well, I think this was a good conversation. I appreciate you guys' arguments and your ability to seek the truth.
How do you want to change politics? How would you just?
Thanks, bro. I appreciate you, Toyo.
I want to make it less about rhetoric and more about truth.
Oh, okay. Well, you care about the truth.
Less about debating and more about actually finding solutions.
Yeah,
and less about sides fighting each other.
Word. That's what we're here for, because the Earth is what it is at the end of the day. It's not a debate. So yes, we are here seeking the truth, and we are glad you came by, to see what that looks like.
Yeah, you've been nice to talk to you. Have a good night.
I'll look into those links you sent.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
I recommend don't tell anybody, though. If you find out that we're right, just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, it'll
backfire.
I won't let peer pressure.
We all tried it. It doesn't work. You think people are going to see it because it's so obvious at some point, but they won't even look at it. They'll just
your best friend will flip out at you. Something like that.
My best friend from high school won't even talk to me.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's actually crazy. Okay.
Yeah, that alone is a tell, right? When people have emotional responses like that, it sounds Pavlovian, right? Like it was conditioned.
Heavy denial, yeah.
It's scaring me, bro. I might become a flat earther.
Like if one of my best friends was like, if I thought that he went crazy, started believing something that's like completely crazy, I would look into whatever he's talking about and find out why he's believing it and try to help him. But the denial is so crazy that it's almost like they have an instinct that I might be right, and they'd rather just disassociate because then they'd have to look into it and find out I'm right, because that's how threatening this is to people's consciousness.
Really
their sense of well-being. It is, because it's like your paradigm can't shift. You've got kids. You have to deal with them learning that in school and all the dilemmas, your job, or just like all the decisions you've made up to that point in your life. Any significant decision you made might have been different if you'd known this. So you have to just continue on with what you thought was true.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. So.
All right, man. Take care. Have a good one.
Later. Yep. See ya.
Come back anytime, brother.
Tora, I forgot your name for a second. Sorry, bro.
Hey, no worries, brother.
I just got in here, rolled out of bed. So if I somehow bogarted a conversation too, I'm sorry.
Not at all. No, I didn't even know it was you at first to begin with. I was talking over you. Sorry.
Cool.
But anyway, yeah, that was funny last night with Franco. No? Franco is a physicist. I can't wait to get the full recording because I really laid into him after that little bit that I got recorded.
Yeah, I listened to 2 of the 3 pieces that you posted on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, the other things he was saying after the Witsit embarrassment.
Yeah, good Lord. I mean, it just goes to show that what we're saying is right.
Yeah, he displays it and then just acts confident. Like, oh, I started out by saying, look, I don't want any calculations on paper. I want the real physics here. What happened? How does this work? And he goes, well, it's calculations on paper. I insist on that. Like, what? No.
Yeah, demonstrate it, man. Let's see what happens.
Right? That's what
show me the
faster sideways.
Dude, when we ask for a demonstration of these things, we're not just asking for them to show us an observation to convince us. We want them to show us their struggle and getting the demonstration set up and working right.
It doesn't.
It doesn't, right.
What? You're a physicist. You teach physics.
Yeah.
And you can't even give me an applied version of how the physics actually works. You cannot even think about it other than a calculation on paper. And somehow that's good enough for you to think that it must work without even thinking further. I mean, you're teaching physics. That's baffling. He's a CERN physicist.
Yeah, so what are they doing over there?
He's just doing calculations.
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, they're just over there stuck in this rut of super high level theoretical physics that they spend no time considering the physics of actual reality, which is why they struggle with these 8th grade level physics questions that have been asked for 100 years.
I'm interested in what Witzer was saying earlier to him, and I guess this is true, that quantum physics, whatever it is they're predicting, whether you call it a virtual particle or not, whatever they're doing at these predictions, it is like super precise in some way. And I don't know why exactly it's precise.
Yeah.
So they have the wrong interpretation. What is it they're using? I mean, I guess, for the computer stuff, right?
I mean, yeah, they're applying some classical, they're applying a hodgepodge of different physical concepts to what's happening at this subatomic level. It's amazing how much predictive value and how workable it is, but I can't really imagine in my head that there are like these dipoles expanding and rotating and doing all this crap. Meanwhile, nobody's actually seen this stuff. This is all conceptual.
Well, it works just like a torus field anyway, right?
Huh?
It works like a torus field anyway, and it could be the ether, and it could just be a torus field instead of a dipole. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. It does. So in like physics, they give you all these concepts to use to help simplify things, and one of the basic ones is like Gauss's law, where basically you take a point charge, put it in free space, and you want to figure out like how much charge there is at a certain given distance from it. So they have you imagine drawing like a sphere around the point charge, and then you use basically spherical trig, and you use whatever force is applied at the point source in the middle, and you calculate the strength of the field by the distance, and you can calculate the strength of the surface area, the charge across the surface area of the imaginary sphere. And this is what you do all day at like this level of physics, right? You're imagining point charges and expanding imaginary spheres around them. You're building point charges with imaginary spheres around them. You're doing this all day. What does that do to you psychologically and intellectually?
And what's it used for? What's the application?
Well, for calculating like the amount of charge there is for like electrical charge in something.
So it is useful.
Yeah, it's useful. It doesn't mean that there's like any actual ball of energy. Right. But you do this enough, and it's very easy to reify it in your mind. You do this over the course of a career, it's all you think about. Right. I could see where you kind of become an apex predator physicist, because you can do these like ball calculations in your head all day long. But at the end of the day, you're just using a model to do calculations of something that you can't see or experience directly.
So brilliant how they've been able to make these people do things with calculations that are actually useful, yet still get them to totally buy into the concept that is totally false.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like what's a rocket scientist anymore? You were saying earlier, right? What is truly a rocket scientist? all the ones that I've met through this discussion coming in through these doors seem to be kind of dumb.
Yeah, they're not wise enough to realize the rocket never goes to space. It never goes to space.
Right.
They're smart enough to build it, though.
Actual aerospace engineers that deal with different kinds of airframes and propulsion dynamics and stuff and ballistics, they know what's going on. They seem to have their stuff together. But then, like, their betters are supposedly the rocket engineers. They're supposed to be at the top level of like aerospace engineering, and they don't seem to be as smart as the aerospace engineers underneath them.
Yeah, just like the guy that builds the planes and flies the planes, because of the assumption being so ingrained that it's a spinning ball, they just assume that somehow the air is accelerating plane sideways an extra 500 miles an hour so they can land as if it's stationary. How could that be overlooked? If you're at all critical, you must realize that it's not happening.
You got to wonder too, like freshman, sophomore level college students at these aeronautical universities like RPI, Embry-Riddle, and so on, Caltech. They got to be discussing this same stuff quietly amongst themselves.
Yeah, the college kids know. I mean, they look on the internet. Flat Earth has become big enough now that, and accepted enough as a possibility to enough people that it's just gonna be like wildfire here pretty soon. All the college kids are gonna be laughing at each other, still believing in the ball.
Oh, I heard as recent as just a few years ago, like on the Caltech forums where all the physics students and nerds talk to each other, that they were ripping apart the Apollo space program using ballistics and running simulations of the re-entry capsule going ass end or butt down first into the medium of the atmosphere, and the kind of crazy oscillations and vibrations and twirling around that it would do, the G forces and shearing forces and everything is just so chaotic. I mean, they were having a good laugh at this, right? And these are Caltech students doing this.
Yeah. The jig is up.
Yeah, Caltech is a feeder for Jet Propulsion Laboratory. They freaking own part of it, along with NASA.
There's a video I'm about to post, or I'll send it to you and post it.
Okay, cool.
I don't think I've ever recommended a Mark Sargent video before, but the only reason I'm recommending this is because what he says in there is telling, and it's almost like if he is the guy that's slowly bringing us into the flat Earth on purpose. What he says is that when he starts talking about the government and the government lying, and he's like, well, for a long time they didn't know how to be able to bring the flat Earth back to the people in a palatable way. And he said, and that's what this is all about. Almost like I'm here to bring back the flat Earth in a palatable way. Something like that. I'm kind of misquoting it.
Yeah, there's something goofy with him and Eric Dubé both.
Yeah.
I don't like playing the shill game and stuff. I really don't. I think it's disgusting. You got people like Russia Vids, RV. Yeah, they can all go pound sand. But I mean, there's something weird about the origin story of the Flat Earth Awakening and the characters that came onto the scene and what they're doing today.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, yeah, like who are these people that they just suddenly blew up out of nowhere in like 2014, 2015? They started coming with all this flat Earth stuff into the public, making videos and, like Mark Sargent.
Yeah, like ODD, like it was suspicious just that ODD's videos were so polished and so good.
Yeah, for example, yeah.
Like, wait a minute. This guy did that all by himself? Like this idea has been completely thought. It's like they've been studying this for like 4 years to roll out almost, it seemed like.
Yeah, I got to say, man, I was really surprised when I first came into this. I think I first set foot in the 24/7 Discord about 3 years ago. I was brand new. I was surprised at how much of a culture had developed around this by that time, with music videos, news websites, apps, I'm like, whoa, all of this has been happening the past few years. Where have I been?
Yeah,
and then now I'm starting to think about it differently.
Yeah, and there's a network. I mean, what was it? Mark Sargent's thing that they were saying he was the one that was the CEO or whatever. But regardless, it still is a network. It's called what is it?
First time hearing about this.
Megatron Incorporated.
What?
Yeah, it's like Megatron.
Oh,
look up Megatron. Mark Sargent was in it.
That's
funny.
It's
just like it's almost like, okay, here's the truth. I mean, it's basically the network is here's the truth as a product. Join the network and support each other. And flat Earth is one of those truths that's allowed on the table. Once there was a green light on that, then you could say whatever you want about it, as long as it's just flat Earth. And the only reason they would do that, in my opinion, is they plan on using this, right? Just having a long stretch, long fight that separates people in the meantime. And then they're going to tell us it's flat and give us a bunch of steel tied to that. This is exactly how far you can go until you hit the firmament. You know how thick that is. And the outer ponders are, going to kill you if you go this far. Or, we had a treaty and that's why we had to lie. Whatever, they have all the excuses in the world once they tell us the truth, because then they can just make up whatever they want. People start believing them because they gave us the big truth. Or the one world order.
I guess, what bothers me is the premeditation behind all that. The premeditation of setting up these networks behind the scenes to give us curated truth content.
Absolutely, because it's the information age. It's part of the whole battleground,
Yeah.
Information, the battleground. We're in World War III right now. It's the information.
Right? I'm still stuck on my theory, man, which I can't take credit for. I've gathered it from everybody else I've heard. And
what's the theory?
The theory is that the U.S. government needs to update their flat Earth models for their real technology. The problem is the global deception has been so wildly successful that the government's been able to downsize the amount of people they needed to keep it up and going. But technology is changing. You got a bunch of flat earthers with high-tech cameras, infrared sensors, and everything else. I think they might be turning to the public and to the flat Earth community to have them poke holes in the globe deception so they can patch that up, while also bringing some content to the flat Earth discussion so that they could patch and update their own models. And they just have to watch us.
They have the resources to do their own research on what it actually is. They wouldn't need us for that.
Well, I mean, I think there's a component of secrecy to this. Like, you could bring in like maybe one or two physicists at the top of their fields, shove an NDA in their face, and tell them that if they want to contribute, for patriotism, that they have to sign on the dotted line. And that can only work so far. You're not going to get like a lot of fresh talent pool that way.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm assuming that they're working on a classified program here, so that they would have to be these, like if the government was going to expend all this effort and energy, they'd have a hard time expanding their talent pool into the flat Earth subject, because they spent so much time and resources guiding people away from that.
Yeah, but they probably, they're just keeping the knowledge for themselves and probably doing all kinds of investigating.
Well, yeah, it's what it is they're doing behind the scenes, I think, is needing a refresh or an update. There's something that they need.
Yeah, it's all speculation.
Yeah, it is all speculation.
But like, it would be interesting. I mean, it seems like what I said about Mark Sargent. Like, if they rolled out flat Earth, is it just to gaslight us endlessly and infinitely, indefinitely, or is it because they fake space poorly on purpose, show us the wires on the ISS, and the whole thing was built to spill? Great band, by the way. But the whole thing was built to spill, just like they made the ISS or the Twin Towers, with a 33-year lifespan on purpose. They build the thing so they can destroy it conveniently at the time where they can profit from it being destroyed.
Hey, maybe you're both right.
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah, because
I don't think we're disagreeing. I don't think we're disagreeing, really.
No, we don't disagree.
They react so quickly to flat Earth's And they seem to be in sync with, when the flat earthers seem to be debunking things. So that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Also, how would they move their model forward? You're right, with a globe. They're kind of trapped and stuck, aren't they? They have to undo some work. So maybe they're actually trying to create a new model. Maybe that's what this is about. In the same way they're trying to create a new male and female, you know what I mean? And they want a new sort of, maybe they're going to create like a new hybridized sort of model.
Well, no, they're going to create a model that they actually lie about, but they includes the idea of stationary level, because people figured that out. So they'll make a pseudoscience model based on flat Earth. That's my guess.
Like a new theory on gravity or something, but it would change everything, of course.
No, they'll just say it's density and maybe electrostatics, like we figured out. Just go with the flat Earth, like some of the basic things will be what's obvious. They'll tell us the truth about that, but then they'll start adding in the outer ponders, even if there are outer ponders. They'll have their PSYOP version of it with green screen and blue beam that they can make us, more controlled with.
You know what that would mean, though, NP? That would mean that flat earthers have been doing the leading edge work when it comes to cosmology. It means we've been the center of everything. Do you know what I mean? In terms of developing.
We're useful, exactly. Yep. And that way, that's what Amish is saying. Yeah, we've been they're using us for as a means to an end, but then making us think that we're busting them when actually they're just showing them their cars on purpose.
I really like this theory, by the way. I've never really thought about it like this, but it's a possibility.
Well, think about it. How many leaked ISS videos of harnesses have we seen? Do you think they're just that sloppy? Think they're that stupid?
Too many to make sense. Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
They really wanted to hide it. They don't have to even show us anything. They don't have to show us all the fake rocket stuff or any of that. It's all obviously put out there for us to see them. Or it could just be that they're flaunting their power. They know we can't do anything about it, so they just show us how stupid they could be and, gaslight us. And, that's just a way of showing that they're in control.
Well, what would you do if you wanted a new model, but you didn't want to tell the people anything? You wanted them to work on something, but you didn't actually want it to be meaningful?
You mean a real model or a PSYOP?
Well, this is what I mean. You create a PSYOP. You create a PSYOP, obviously the globe, obviously, but then in order for them to develop it, they gaslight us, tell us there's, release some of the information, or at least allow some of it, so that we work on the problems, we work on the projects, we actually come up with solutions, and they're just basically stealing all of our ideas.
Yeah, I think they probably have it figured out way more than needing us still. I don't think they really need us to figure shit out.
Yeah. When I say us, I definitely don't mean me, but you get my drift.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, they're working on how the believability, like some of the narratives that we perpetuate that maybe we're fed on purpose, and how that, maybe some of the ideas about things come from us, who knows? But I think that they probably got like a 30-year plan that they're going by.
Yeah, because whenever a big company gets a problem, they always come back to the public and then they offer a cash prize. You know what I mean? Well, maybe this is that without the cash prize. You actually get stigma instead of a cash prize.
Speaking of prizes, don't you think it'd be great to have our own prize system called the Nobel Prize? Instead of Nobel, it'd be the Nobel Prize. And we give it to people that are actually doing noble truth work.
Oh, dude, that's such a great idea. Somebody should be running that event for the truther community.
Yeah, right? The Nobel Prize. The only one that counts.
And I want to see some legacy awards for some of the old school heads as well. That's such a great idea.
Yeah, just to play on words there. And you could even say, hey, he's got a Nobel Prize. And they'll think we're saying Nobel, and they'll be like, wait, look this up. This guy doesn't have a prize.
And then if anybody gets a Nobel Prize in the truther community, we address them as the Noble. So it'll be the Noble New Perspective or the Noble Big Group.
Right. the Nobel, right? The Nobel laureate, right? And we'll talk about them the same way they talk about their Nobel Prize. Oh well, it was peer reviewed. He was definitely the winner of the Nobel Prize, and you know who he is.
Peer review. I love it.
Yeah,
That's
right?
such a great idea.
Just take it.
If you want
They're like,
prestige,
why don't you go get your Nobel Prize? I already have a Nobel Prize. What are you talking about? You don't have a Nobel Prize.
yeah,
Yes, I do.
it's kind of a weird idea, right? Because the true, truthers out here, we don't care about sociability and popularity. I mean, as much as we want to manage that, you know what I mean, and we want to build rapport for our own benefits, blah blah blah. In general, none of us care about that. But it's kind of ironic, isn't it? Because this award thing would be like not really what anyone would care about, but it would have such an effect on the Globers and the outsiders.
Yeah, it'd be mocking it. It'd be mocking it, but also kind of an honor at the same time.
They'd be jealous. Yeah. I bet you there'd be Globers who would want a Nobel Prize, and then they would change their tact and start working for the flat earthers.
And the best thing it's like the best compliment to say someone's noble. So it's like the perfect play on words for, and being noble doesn't mean being the best at something. It just means being noble in some way, being a good person, right? It doesn't have to be some big thing somebody does to give you a Nobel Prize.
We should do it, man. Start handing out these titles.
I think it's great. Right? Let's do it. I actually downloaded the Nobel Prize. There's an image of the Nobel Prize, like the coin with the head on it. I'm going to do some Photoshop work and change the character on it.
I think we should do this, NP, and I think we should, we should get the message out that everybody calls these people. Once we've decided who gets the Nobel Prizes, I think we should work on getting people to honor it and treat it with respect.
We'll give a lot of them out. Yeah, well, you're definitely, just the fact that we came up with this idea deserves a Nobel Prize right there. It's of some sort, right? We can give
We're the first two. We're the first two. I'm going to start calling you the Nobel MP now. Okay.
All right. I nominate you. You nominate me. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm Noble Roots. Love it.
What'd you say? Somebody said something.
I love the UK accent.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I feel like an alien sometimes on here because it's all Americans.
I like it though.
Oh, thank you.
I think people from the UK are a lot more friendlier too. Guys to girls like me. A lot of them.
Oof, I disagree. I actually think we're a lot more moody and you guys are a lot more positive.
You think so?
Yeah, from what I see on Discord and stuff.
But what I see on videos, YouTube videos that I see of all the abandoned people, the people who do the exploring and the hoarders and all that other stuff over there, they seem to think everything's just wonderful.
Yeah, there's more of a, definitely in the UK, I think there's more of an interest in things like science and, geography, and in general, they enjoy the wonder and the mystery. But you've got to remember the Brits, we have a pagan origins, we're very mysterious and we love the idea of druidism and mysticism. So I think that's a cultural thing, to be honest.
Cool.
We're like fake Christians in the UK. I promise you, we're not genuine. We are pagans. And I say we, not me. I'm saying the country.
That's cool.
Yeah, the British haven't lost their psychic powers. They haven't bred with the bugman as much.
The bugman?
What's a bugman?
Yeah, the bugman.
Let's hear about the bugman.
It's like the opposite of the Übermensch, isn't it?
Hmm?
It's a Nietzschean term. It's just the opposite of Übermensch, isn't it?
A Nietzschean term?
The opposite
of what?
Übermensch.
Übermensch.
Yeah, the British share a bloodline, the Nordic Atlanteans, who have had all their psychic powers and these amazing inventions. That's why they decided to do heroin instead, because they don't have to be important.
Why they decided to do heroin, you said?
Is my microphone low? I can't say something snarky and then just be quiet.
Should you talk really fast?
Oh well. Yeah. I was just memeing. Don't pay attention to me. I haven't taken my medication.
Okay. No problem. It's interesting you said bugmen, though. Who are the bugmen? That we greeted with to use our psychic powers.
And I like how in the UK and stuff like that, they say that everything's brilliant, and I love that. How they
It's brilliant that you love that. It's really brilliant.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Roots, I'm sending you the image of the Nobel Prize right here. It's interesting that they abbreviated. I can't post in this chat or something an image. If you can share it. But it's Alfred Newman or Alfred Nobel, right? But they abbreviate ALFR, like a little like shortening of Alpha. But there's only 2 more letters. It's weird that they would not just put the whole name on there. What do you think? They put ALFR dash Nobel. Like, oh, we don't have enough room to make it look good with the RED, so we're just going to put ALFR Nobel. Like, wait a minute. Why not just put the whole name in?
It looks like Demok's already got one.
Oh, with his penny?
Yeah. Similar to Demok's.
The Jew penny. Did you know why we call it the Jew penny?
Nope.
There's some weird penny that he has. That's the reason he uses it, because he hasn't found this odd penny that might be worth money if it's a mistake of some sort, but it's kind of like Jew beanie or something, it looks like. Get why they were calling it Jew penny. Yeah, it looks like he's wearing like a little hat. A yarmulke.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him about that. Yeah, MP, you know what we should do? We should get a free website together and we should put a list of all of the big heads in the truth community, and then we should ask people to vote who deserves Nobel Prizes.
Right.
And get everybody involved.
We shouldn't even worry about the voting part of it, We should just give the awards out. Right? Just decide and just give them freely to a lot of people. It's not about really the competition. It's not really noble.
What up?
Leon. Hey, what's up, Crypt?
Not shit, bro. Just really trying to prove that the Earth is a ball so I can go back to being normal, but it's not happening.